Hello, welcome to episode 33 of Intro to Python. So we're going to cover something called RegEx. It's short for regular expressions. So it looks like this. You'll see RegEx, stuff like that. And RegEx, when you first see it, can look like magic. It certainly can accomplish things very quickly and complex tasks that might be hard to code, even in something like Python. Python's a very fast language to code a lot of solutions in. Python has a lot of tools and modules and stuff. It's a very cool language for all of that stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is import the module. So there's a regex module, and it's just simply RE. That's all it is for the regex module. So what is regex? It's a regular expression. So it's a sequence of characters that forms a search pattern. So you're telling it what to look for, and then you can replace things that it finds or just keep what it finds, whatever. So it can be used to check if a string contains the specified search pattern. And using this module makes it a lot easier. So for example, we'll build a little string here and we'll just call it like test string, and we'll just call it this. This is a test string that is super original, and then here we can use that regex by doing a variable called x, and we'll do re because that's the name of the module, and we will search. This is a function inside the regex module, and then we can look for any string that we want in here. So we can look for something like this, and then we can do a period and something like that, and then maybe we'll add like a capital here for the O, and we'll look for original here, and then put a $, and then we'll pass in the string that we want to search, which is test string here. We'll open our terminal, py33.py, and we're not printing anything. So we're searching for this, but we're not printing anything out. So what we can do here is just kind of write like an if statement. So I know there's probably some echo, so we can do an if. And then we'll look for x, of course, like see if x exists, and then we'll just print. Geez, I cannot type, sorry. Match found, and then we'll just add an else. And just looking at this regex, one issue I'm going to have is I don't have this period in here. So we'll actually add that period, save, come down, run it, and we see match found. So this is how specific regex is. If I don't have that period in here, because it's still part of this word, according to the computer program, right? So we save it. You see no match found because I'm looking for exact matches to this, and it's just breaking it up based on the spaces. So that's why. And you can see, like, if I do that, still no match found, stuff like that. So regex is very specific, but that's what's useful about regex, is it's looking for a very specific thing. And so it's really hard to fool. So now we're just going to go ahead and comment this section out really quick and move on to some of the other functions that regex offers. So regex has functions like find all, search, split, sub, and again, remember that we can just do this dir here if we want to see what something has. And so you can see all this, it has all kinds of stuff. So a lot of times I'd look past all the dunders or even the single under type functions, and then kind of look at other stuff. So you have compile, copy reg, enum, error, escape, find all, find iter, full match, func tools, match, purge, search, split, sub, sub in, and template. All right, so we'll just kind of briefly touch on this because regex can get pretty complicated if you're early in your coding experience or learning, and it'll, like I said, it will look kind of like foreign. So basically here we have our test string, and if we just add some stuff to it, like we'll just add some numbers, like number is whatever. It's not going to be very good syntax, and number 2 is whatever. So we have some numbers here. So one of the things we can do is that find all. So we have our test string, and we can set like our regular expression that we're looking for here, and we're going to actually just look for digits, and how we do that is this \d plus. And I know this looks very strange, so this is just a sample regular expression, and it's just going to look for digits inside of the string that we pass in. So then we can say like x here equals re.findAll. So we're calling the module, we're calling the function findAll, and in findAll we're going to pass in this regular expression that we're looking for, and then the string that we want it to search, which is our test string. So we'll pass in test string, and then we'll print x. So we'll print the result of x. So if we come down here, we run 33.py. Oh, I still have it printing this, so please ignore that. Save, and just so it's more clear. So it searched this whole string, and then it just returns digits, and that's what this \d plus is saying. It's saying return any digits that you run into in this string. And so that's what it's doing. So you see that we have the first group of digits up here. It even returns the number 2 because I used a number in the string there for that, and then it returns this whole number. So it's just returning every digit that it finds in the string. So it returns everything. The negative, it looks like I didn't save. So there we go. So I wanted to show you this. So it's not returning the negative here. It's just returning the digits. So something to keep in mind if you ever have, and people will always try to break any code that you write, but if you ever have anything dealing with any negatives, like maybe you want to confirm if they're negative or positive first, and then run them through this regular expression if you're looking for digits only, right? So I went ahead here and added the meta characters, which we've seen a little bit of right here. And covering RegEx by itself could be a several hour long video, like just going into each thing that it does. So I just wanted you to be familiar with, if you're looking up any code, how to do something in Python, and you see a regular expression, now you'll know what it is. So if anything just looks kind of like witchcraft is the best way I can describe how I felt about it the first time I saw it. I was so confused what was going on. And then once you read up on RegEx, it's incredibly useful. It's awesome. It solves a bunch of problems very quickly. Like I said, it's just great to have access to and some understanding of, and just know that it exists so that you can search it up. But here's a bunch of the meta characters here, and you've seen like the \. So this signals a special sequence, right? It can also be used to escape special characters. So we've seen \d plus. Again, it just does this. So I don't think I think I ran it and then didn't save. So with the d plus, it does that. If we remove the plus, this is the output that we get here. So you see that it does each individual character. It still goes over all of the numbers, right? It's returning everything. We see that it ends here with the 124, the 124,087. So we still have that sequence here, but it's doing them individually. If you want them clumped together as a sequence, right, then you can do that plus sign. So that's all it's doing. So the \/ is just this part, which is signaling a special sequence. That's it. It's signaling a sequence. D means look for a digit, right? So this is returning any digit it finds. And then the plus is saying to keep them to group together. So if you're wondering what sequences to use here, I'll just go ahead and make that as well, so that you can just copy or just save this, screenshot it, whatever. Here's the different sequences. So it can return a match if the specified characters are at the beginning of the string, right? And you kind of saw like a weird string up here, right? So what do we use up here? We used the up arrow, we used an asterisk, and we used a $sign. So if we look, the $sign ends with planet, right? So it's looking for the last thing, which is why we did original. It's ending with this. We're seeing if it ended with original period, originally. And then we have the up arrow to see if it starts with whatever you're passing in, right? So we're seeing if the string starts with this. So if you have a specific string and you need it to begin with whatever word, right? Maybe you have a test question and there's only one way to begin the answer, right? You could use a regular expression to test before you do anything else. You could reject any answers that don't start with that right off the bat, right? So there's a lot of uses for all of this, and it's super useful to know, but maybe I'll make a separate video if you want me to. Just like or comment, let me know. Otherwise, we're just going to do this really quick overview just so you know of its existence. There's also a set, which is just a set of characters inside a pair of square brackets that have special meanings that you can do right here. So here's the different sets that you can enter. And then we covered the find all function, which is kind of wild. And you can just, again, do kind of whatever, find all. Just copy our test string, actually. So let's comment it out up here. Copy it, and we'll just cover find all again in a simpler way. So we have our text here. We'll do find all, and then we'll just search for like is, and then we'll pass in that test string, right? And then we'll print X. Save, come down here. And of course, I forgot to comment out the one up here, which is why we're getting that error. So we want to get rid of all of that really quick. Save, run it again, and now you see that we're getting is. It's not telling us exactly where it found it, but it's telling us that it found 5 matches, find all matches of this inside of this string. So very useful. You can see how many times a word is mentioned. Maybe you have a program that's like looking for a bot that's just repeating stuff or whatever you're looking for. Very useful. You could also make sure that like a string doesn't have something in it. So with find all, so we can do the same thing. If I can get my hands to listen to me, and we could type like Istanbul and see how many times Istanbul shows up, and we'll do Y. Then we'll come down and we'll print off Y. Save, print, and we get this empty array, which means 0. So then you could also, if you're trying to see if, make sure strings don't have, say like bad words or something, if you're having someone submit comments and you need to keep it PG friendly or whatever, you could run it through this, and then if your array or your list is 0 long, right, then you know that the string is okay. It doesn't contain whatever words you're passing in or whatever you're passing in, and then you could let it continue. Otherwise, you could reject it based off that. So it's good for like validating strings, validating input, whatever. And then search, we've already seen. Search is kind of like find all, except for it's just the first match. So we can w equals ray.search, and we'll just copy this exact same thing here, and then we'll print w. Save, run, and you see ray.match object span 2 4 match is. So it's saying, right, that index 2 to 4 is what we're looking for, right? So it's in between those. So it's telling us where it found is, right? We could also do the split function here. So we'll do that one as z. So we'll do ray.split. And here we'll just go ahead and look for white spaces. So we'll do \x, and then we'll do test string, pass that in. Print z, save, run. And then you see that it breaks it up on all of the white space, right? So we're just getting back everything that's not white space, essentially. Which is very similar to kind of the split function that we've seen before, where you enter what you wanted to split on, right? So we're doing basically the same thing here with the regular expression. And another thing you can do is the sub, which is kind of like substitute. So I'll actually name this one B, and because I think we might have used A up above. So here we'll do the same thing, \s for white space, right? And then we're going to tell it what we want to replace the white space with. So we'll just replace it with the word space in all caps. And then we'll pass in test string. And then we'll also print B here. Go ahead and save. Run that, and you see that everywhere there was a space now has the capital word space inside of it because we substituted it, which is what sub is for. And then you can also set on this if we just want a set amount of times. So if we just want to replace the first space, let's say, you can pass in a number here, save it, print, and you see that it only replaces the very first instance of white space that it runs into. So all of these things have a lot of uses, and when you start doing kind of like problems, if you go to like LeetCode or HackerRank, you can look at some DSA problems just to kind of see things that you would solve. And a lot of RegEx stuff is very helpful in solving a lot of those, or at least a chunk of that problem. And now I'll just comment that out, and I'm just going to kind of go over some other stuff really quickly because I know this video is getting long, but I just want you to be aware that these things exist. So let me clear our console really quick. And then we have our test string back down here that we kind of moved. And then we'll just set X to the search. And we'll just search for is again in test string. And then we'll print X here. And so I wanted to cover search really quick. So just know that you're getting a match object. So this is an object containing the information about the search and the result. So this is actually returning an object, which we saw earlier with the span, the 2 to 4. So if there is no match, the value none will be returned instead of the value object. So if we return something in here like chickens, save it, and we search, we get none. So a match object means that it did find it, and then it's giving you additional information like the span, and the match is showing what it matched. So just so you know, that's returning a match object. Now because this is an object and it has this property span here, we can actually execute just the span, save, and then you see we just get the 2 to 4 instead of the entire object back. So that's something that we're able to do. We can also do dot string. Now you don't execute dot string, so you just call dot string like this, x dot string, no brackets. This is the test string that is super original. So it's actually just giving us back the test string. So it's showing us what string it was checking, right? And then you can also do group. And if you do group, that one is executed. So just remember, string's the only one that's not executed. Span and group are. So if you're running into any errors, if you try to execute string, it will give you an error. And then you see what it was looking for. The group is the string is that's testing the other string for comparisons. And again, if there is no match, it will just return none. So really quick, I'm just going to show you what happens if you try to execute string, just so if you run into this error, and it says string object is not callable, and we're trying to call it with these brackets here. So just if you see something's not callable, try to delete the brackets, see if it works, and if it does, error fixed. Okay, thanks. I'm sure you probably have a bunch of questions about RegEx. If you do, feel free to mess around with it. You can comment or ask any questions ever. And if you want, I can make a whole video on RegEx. Just let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching.